Story of the time a police officer pulled me over just to flirt with me. So when I first got my license, I would always go to Wawa in the middle of the night. Usually I would pick up my friend and we would go together. But this night she was busy and I was hungry, so I just went by myself. So I pull up to Wawa and right after I got there, I see a police officer pull up. I didn't think anything of it. So I went inside, ordered my food, and while I was waiting in line to pay, I see the police officer walk in. He was probably in his late 20s, early 30s, really tall and muscular and had blonde hair and blue eyes. Just an overall attractive guy. Right when he walked in, we made eye contact. At the time, I was 17, so I wasn't thinking like, ooh, arrest me, officer. I'm just kidding. But whatever, I pay for my food, go to my car. Then the cop comes out a few minutes after me, and he looks at me while I'm getting in my car. And I was really hungry and not trying to wait to eat, so I watched YouTube on my phone and ate my food in my car. So I finished eating and start heading home. Mind you, there was nothing wrong with my car. I didn't have tints, all my lights were working, and all of a sudden I see cop lights behind my car. So I pull over, and it's lo and behold the cop from Wawa. Like for part 2? Story of the time a cop pulled me over just to flirt with me. Part 2. So he stared at me at Wawa, waited for me to leave, and when I left, he pulled me over. Like I said, there was nothing wrong with my car. Also, I was 17 and he was probably in his late 20s. And yeah, he was attractive, but I was 17 and not interested in a 20-something-year-old. So he walks over to my car, but he didn't come up to my window, he came up to my passenger seat window, probably because the shoulder was really small and the cars were coming by fast on my side. But anyway, for the juicy part. So right off the bat, he was mad flirty. Like, you know how the way that somebody looks at you says a million words? Well, his eyes were saying 1,000,001. But anyway, he was like, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, no, because I didn't. And he was like, what's a pretty little girl doing out so late without her boyfriend? First of all, little girl. Is that him implying that he knows I was a minor? Nah, I'm just kidding, but honestly, in the moment, I really didn't know why he pulled me over. So I just flirted back until he left.
So when I turned 13, I had a birthday party. It's no big deal. I mean, I was just blossoming, turning into a woman. And so I remember my mom was like, no one's allowed in the rooms. Everyone needs to be outside. If you see anyone inside, you need to tell me. I was like, oh my God, Booma, you don't need to pop off. I get it, Booma, come on. I remember I saw 3 adults walk out of my room. I didn't tell my mom, but let me tell you why. Because I was like, maybe they're designing a gift for me. So the end of the day came, no surprise present came. I'm not mad. Are you mad? Because I'm happy. So we started cleaning up and then we went to go clean my room in case. Oh, the best part is coming! There was a voodoo doll under my bed. It looked exactly like me. I remember there was one needle on its left eye, another needle on its heart, and it was laying on like a ratchet green leaf. And then next to it, there was a note that said, this is all gonna be mine in cursive. So then my mom started doing research. After we found the voodoo doll, my mom did some research and we found out that someone was basically trying to do evil to me and harm me. Like, I appreciate you counting me in. I personally, I don't want to be voodooed, but thank you. Thankfully though, we had some cameras in the house, so we were about to see who was behind this. This is the best part. We checked the cameras. And the 3 people that I saw walk out of my room, they were strangers. My parents didn't invite them. They didn't know them. So what my dad did was he screenshotted the footage and then he posted it on Facebook and he was like, does anyone know who this is? So we ended up finding them, contacting them, whatever. And we found out they work for this company that does witch stuff. And someone was paying them to do all of this witchery stuff on me. No, I'm fine. What about you? So we asked them, what is behind all of this? What magic are you trying to do? Who paid you? After my dad contacted the witches basically told him that it's better to not talk about this on the phone. They then told my dad that the only person they can release information to is me. Long story short, I had to meet the witches at an alley by myself. By myself. I pull up, I feel like a whole ass horse. I'm about to shit everywhere. So then I come across the witches and I remember they were looking straight at the ground. And I remember I was like, hi. And they were like, we cannot look you in the eyes because then the curse is going to be ours. I remember I started asking them questions like, just the usual. Like, why'd you make a voodoo doll of me? They told me that the whole point behind this was for me to eventually turn crazy and be lonely forever. Bitch, I'm already crazy and needy as f. Unfortunately, they said they couldn't tell me who was behind all of this. I remember they told me how to break the curse though. They told me to put the voodoo doll in a wooden box and set it on fire. And they gave me this like nasty hot green juice, but apparently it killed the curse.
This is a story of the time that this girl wanted to fight me in school for no reason. So a little backstory, me and this girl were like really close friends for a few years and then we started to fall out and then become friends again and it was really on and off. So she was dating this kid about a year or 2 before this situation happened. And me and this kid knew each other, but we weren't like friends. We just had mutual friends. So sometimes we would hang out like in a group. During this time, me and the girl were on, so we had plans to hang out the same day. So I was walking to one of my classes when this girl that I barely talked to came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, did you hear, like, this girl wanted to fight you?" And I just laughed because I was like, what? Like, she's my friend. She never said anything to me. Like, we were just talking last night. So I texted her and I said, "So-and-so just told me that you wanted to fight me. What's going on? Like, why would she say that? Did you say anything? Are you mad at me? Blah, blah, blah." And she wasn't answering the phone. And she knew my entire schedule for school because we would meet up during class or whatever, but I'm leaving my lunch period and I turn around and I see her storming through people staring at me dead in the eye. This is part 2 of the girl that tried fighting me in school for no reason. So I'm walking out of my lunch period and I turn around and I see her storming through people just staring at me dead in the eye. And I was like, great, what the fuck now? Like, what now? Because part of the reason why I stopped being friends with her and it was so on and off is because it was always something. It was always drama. It was always arguments, like shit like that. So she finally catches up to me and she's like, "You're a fucking whore." And I was like, "What? Like, why am I a whore?" And she was like, "You're really going around talking to my fucking ex, like trying to date him and shit. Like, you really said that you wanted to hook up with him. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Where are these receipts? Because I never fucking said that." So she pulls up her messages with her and her ex, and she's like, "Look, see? He said it. See? He said it." And he was like, "Yeah, Mia was trying to get with me, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, pfft. All I can remember her saying was, "Bitch, I should fucking slap you right now. I should punch you in the face." And I was like, you know what? If we're really about to play this stupid ass shit, hit me then. Fucking hit me. I was literally tapping my cheek and everything. I was like, hit me then. This is part 3 of a girl trying to fight me in school for no reason. So there I am standing, tapping my face, being like, all right, hit me, please do. And mind you, the entire time, I knew that, like, this whole argument was bullshit and that it was really dumb and that she was going to regret doing this in front of everybody because she had no valid reason to even be getting mad at me in the first place. So I was really, really calm the entire time. I didn't stoop to her level. I didn't start shouting at her. I just stayed calm. So I was like, all right, you really believe your ex-boyfriend over me? Then, you know what? You want to fight? Let's go. Hit me. And it just kept going back and forth of her being like, "Oh, I wish I could hit you." And I'm like, "So do it." And she's like, "Oh my God, I would punch you in the face." And I was like, "So then do it." And then everybody else around us, like all the popular kids that came to watch this so-called fight, started like going to their next class because they were like, "Yeah, she's not doing shit." Then her friend dragged her away from me. And I texted the kid and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this shit? Why are you lying?" Then he texted her and was like, "Yo, I was gassing it. That didn't actually happen." But I guess she was so embarrassed of the situation that she...
Story time about how I found out my boyfriend was seeing his ex. And yes, he's still my boyfriend. We haven't broken up. I just don't know what to do. Well, we've been together for 6 months. I met him through some friends, and every time we hang out with those friends, someone always tells me, "Hey, your boyfriend was hitting on so-and-so." And of course, I just never wanted to believe it. He's really attractive, young, and owns his own business, and I know that attracts a lot of women. So when we first started dating, I gave him the option to have an open relationship because I knew that he was surrounded by women that really wanted to be with him, and he also just had a really social life. He said absolutely not because he didn't want to share me with anyone else. I said, "Okay, then we're committed." And he said, "Yeah, we're committed." 2 weeks ago, we decided to move in together and we got a really nice apartment. Right now, we're actually in the process of moving in and buying furniture. Well, 3 days ago, my boyfriend butt dialed me. He didn't realize I could hear the entire conversation he was having over the phone. You'll never guess what I heard. Part 2. So my boyfriend butt dials me and doesn't realize I can hear the entire conversation. I could hear him talking to a woman. He was promising her that he would break up with me and move into the new apartment with her. And when she said, "I won't believe it until you actually do it," he called her by her name. This is when I realized he's talking to his ex. The same ex he told me was toxic and abusive. He also told her that he only loved her and that the only reason he hadn't broken up with me yet was because he was afraid I would harm myself. And that's when they dropped the bomb. She says, "Well, I'm 8 weeks along. You gotta hurry up." She was pregnant. By the way, I listened to their conversation for 10 minutes. I knew that he was at his business, so I decided to go over there and see if I could find them. Finally, I spot his car and drive up right next to it. Roll down the window and I say, "Check your phone." This man didn't even know what to say. He grabbed his phone and he looks at it. The look on his face when he realized I listened to the whole 10-minute conversation. Part 3 is up. Part 3. So my lying, cheating boyfriend butt dials me and I could hear the entire conversation he was having with his ex, who he was cheating on me with, and who was pregnant. He gets out of his car and runs over to me. He tries to open my car door and asks me to get out, but of course I didn't. My cars and my windows were locked. He started hitting my car window telling me to get out, and I could tell he was pissed because he got caught. So guess what I did? I drove straight to his mama's house and I told her everything. He was a mama's boy and I knew this would crush him. So his mom calls him and tells him to come straight to her house. He started swearing up and down that he only said those things because he's afraid of his crazy ex and he doesn't want her to take the baby away from him. His mom and him convinced me to stay in the relationship. We're still together. I don't know what to do. Should I stay with him or should I leave him?